Good morning everyone, it's Friday the 21st of December, it's only 7:15 in the morning and I am parked up at one of my club water lakes. It's the same one I fished last time and I've come here because there's a good chance of getting a bite given that it's proper winter now. I'm trying to give myself the best possible chance of catching a fish. Especially because I've only got a few hours at my disposal. The reason I've got the day off work today is because I need to pick the girls up from school, and they're finishing a half day today because it's the end of their term. So I need to pick them up at 1 o'clock, which means I haven't got very long here. As you can see, it's dark. I've arrived a bit too early. I haven't brought my head torch, forgot it. So I do need to wait for the sunlight to start to creep in so I can see where I'm going. But as soon as it is light, I'll get down to the lake, set things up and see if we can't catch a fish. I haven't been out for a couple of weeks. It's a really busy time of year, you know, the build up to Christmas in terms of family commitments and stuff like that, as well as work, of course. But I'm really pleased to be out here and getting a quick session in and hopefully catching a fish for you guys. Well, good morning. It's just starting to get light, thankfully. I've got the rod pod set up and I've put my rods there ready to rig up, ready for a fishing session. As I said when I was sat up in the car in the darkness, I've only got a few hours at my disposal, so I'm not expecting miracles, but I have come to one of the more prolific, heavily stocked lakes on my club ticket in the hope that I can catch one or two fish on this winter's day. I say winter's day, it is the end of December, but it's surprisingly mild actually. We've had a bit of rain, we've had a lot of rain over the last few days. But yeah, it is quite mild. There's a breeze pushing into this end of the lake where I've set up, and the reason I set up here is walking up and down the bank, I saw two fish show in this area and I didn't see any activity anywhere else, so this is where I'm going to start my plan of attack anyway. I'm going to clip some leads on to my lead clips in just a sec, have a feel around and try and find an area that seems good to fish on. Generally speaking, it's a relatively clear bottom on this lake. It's usually quite friendly, but I'll have a feel around first and then I'll be clipping on I should say, to a quick change clip which is on the end of my main line there, my favoured snowman rig, which is a bottom bait candy nut crush boilie, a little 10mm white chocolate pop-up. I've got a size 8 barbless Fang X there, barbless rule here on this particular lake, a length of coated braid, an anti-tangle sleeve and a swivel. I'm going to dunk the business end in some manila glug to try and put a little bit of extra attraction around that hook bait. I've got some boilies which I'm going to crush and add some liquid to and pop just a small amount of bait out today. It is winter after all, despite it being quite mild. And I've also had a bit of a freezer clear out and I've got a big bag of old sweet corn, bread flake and all kinds of things there. So if I'm struggling, I'll start introducing some of this to try and bring some of the fish into my area. This tends to attract the smaller fish, so it's not going to be my go-to method, but if I'm struggling, scratching for a bite, then heck, anything will do. I'll put some of this out and see if I can catch anything at all. Great, okay, let's see how I get on. just to show you what I'm doing, guys, I'm actually using the line clip to get my leads where I want them to be on this occasion. I'd often just use an underarm flick into the margins on this lake, but the activity that I've seen has actually been in the middle, right in the middle of the lake. So to try and get my baits where I want them to be and make sure I'm stopping the lead before it hits the water to straighten everything out, I'm using the line clip. Obviously, I'm not leaving the line in the clip. When I'm fishing, I'll take it out of the clip, and this little piece of marker elastic, which I'm just putting on here, will help me to get that clip back in place for next time I cast. Let's give it a go. Oh, that didn't take long at all. Hopefully you can see the net there resting in the margins. It was literally 5 minutes. I was just about to sit down and the left-hand rod just bust off. Hell of a run for what is actually quite a small fish. It's probably only 3 or 4 pounds. But I'm going to get that rod back out, get the fish out, and take a quick photo and show you guys on the camera what I've caught. Really pleased to be off the mark so quickly. It's definitely not going to be a blank today. Magic. Well, to say this fish is lively would be an understatement, but there she is. Probably only 3 or 4 pounds. Well, still very lively. But it's certainly saved the blank, and really early on in my session too. I'm going to put this little beauty back and try and catch its much bigger brother. Fantastic. Well, I hadn't even recast that rod when the right hand rod was away. I've only gone and landed another one. Nice scale pattern on this one, really pretty fish. Again, not big, probably about the same size. But I'll get her out of the water and take a quick snap and show you guys on the camera. And then I'll get both rods sorted again and see if we can't repeat, but this time with bigger carp. Cracking little fish, this one. Beautiful colours. Definitely got the winter colours going. Nice dark back and creamy coloured belly with this lovely row of scales, especially down by the tail end. Really pretty scales on this one. Fantastic. Really pleased to have caught 2 fish so quickly. I'm going to slip this one back, get both rods back on the spot and see if we can't catch a bigger one. Really pleased. Well, I was just tinkering with my phone to try and start making this video when my left hand rod was away again, and my reward is this cracking common carp. Really love getting out in the winter when you can catch fish at their best condition, I think anyway. In the summer these fish can be really quite battered. This water is quite heavily fished, and with the water quality not being so great, they do suffer sometimes. But in the winter, this fish is looking great. Not a scale out of place. Probably the biggest one so far. Maybe 5 or 6 pounds if I'm lucky. But I am feeling lucky today, that's brilliant. I'm going to slip this one back. We're going to try again. Well, after returning that fish, I've checked my hook just like I always do, and checked the rig to make sure that it's okay to potentially go back out into the water. I know some people use a different rig for every fish or change the hook for every fish. I don't do that. I think probably I would if I could, but in terms of time and money and what have you, I do tend to reuse my rigs, but I do always check to see what I'm dealing with. Now, this is going to be very difficult to see on the camera, but it's going to see if it will focus for me. Yeah, I don't think you guys are going to be able to see on the camera, but with my naked eye and by doing the nail test and testing this hook on the fleshy part of my hand, I can even see with the naked eye that the end of that hook is turned over. It's pointing outwards, so it's been damaged as a result of catching that fish, I imagine. Now, if I'd cast that hook back out, there's a chance that it would catch me a fish, but the chance is definitely diminished by the state of that hook point. So I'm not going to go to the effort of sharpening this hook and trying to make a point out of it. I think it's had a pretty good innings. It's probably caught 2 or 3 fish in its lifetime. I'm going to ditch this rig and get out a new one. Luckily, I've got a few pre-tied that I made the other weekend in my rig wallet. So I'll drag one of those out, and I'm going to use that instead. But just wanted to share with you my approach to reusing hooks, and that is I try to be sensible about it, and I check the hook after every cast and every fish, just to make sure something like this hasn't happened. But yeah, I'm going to change this one, and I'm going to keep fishing. Well, ladies and gents, that's it for me. It's they say the windows of opportunity for bite times in winter are very small, and I think I was fortunate to arrive when that window was open and catch those few fish. But ever since, any activity that I've seen in the water has just died. The temperature has dropped, even though you can see a little bit of sun shining through. Now that cloud cover has gone, the temperature's gone right down. And as I say, with no fish activity and no more bites, unfortunately, I've run out of time and I haven't caught any more fish. But I hope to be back out on the bank again soon, probably in the new year now. But if you did watch this, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. And Merry Christmas.